Really big chunk. But yeah, best and worst D&D weapon designs. Oh dear, what? Oh yeah, I remember. No, I remember that I asked Leonardo to like check some give me some weapon designs for the funsies. Let's check some of this out. Why not?
All right.
What do we have here?
We're gonna talk about D&D weapons.
Yeah, D&D weapons.
Try to puzzle together an appropriate outfit. This should be random enough.
Because I know on 3rd edition D&D got some really interesting looking weapons. Let me take a sip first though. Hold on. Alright, water.
Enough to be fantasy, right? This is one of the most
Sigma
common
male.
questions that people ask me. What do you think about the weapons in D?
I actually don't know what a Sigma being a Sigma actually means, I'll be honest. I just know it's like a funny meme thingy magic.
D&D, how realistic are they, etc., etc. I mean, the absolute most common question right after do you smoke weed, bruh, is do you play D&D? It doesn't matter how often I say no, people keep asking. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, I know why. I keep making videos about dorky topics. Speaking of which, if you haven't seen my videos on how to fight a rust monster...
I mean, he is a dork. Not that it's a bad thing. That's not a bad thing, okay? Being a dork is not a bad thing, in my opinion. This man is a modern-day Viking.
Golem, you know the drill.
Oh dear.
Do the thing with the stuff.
Alright.
Okay, let me just put this gorgeous stuff in here.
It's alright. D&D 3.5 got some wonky weapons, so hey, why not?
And handle other weapons for demonstration, etc., etc.
Alright.
You know how this goes, right?
Close.
Unless you're new to the channel, in which case, welcome, I guess.
Thank you for welcoming me.
So, D&D
okay,
weapons.
what do we have
I'm
here?
going to start with weapon.
I mean, so far I'm not really seeing something that's like awfully weird.
From D&D 3.5. I'm just working with what someone
Oh,
sent me to look at.
3.5.
And, well, we'll start with the most functional ones and go toward the least functional ones.
I'm also gonna give my thoughts on
no
some of these.
particular order, really, but yeah. First off, pole arms.
Pole arms are standard. In my opinion, I think... Hold on, can I remove the overlay? In my opinion, most of these pole arms actually look pretty normal. I'm not sure about the javelin, is it supposed to be a javelin? But you know, the spears, they look solid. I'm pretty sure they're quite usable. The pike, I mean, I guess pikes, javelins, you use them on a horse, so it shouldn't be a problem. But these wall arms, I do think they're quite, standard. I think they're usable.
There are several which are perfectly fine. You know, the ranceur or ranceur, if you want to pronounce it more French, looks like what you would expect.
Yeah, you know what?
For the most part.
Quite standard.
Functional, not much to say. The Gisarm is a little bit off.
I'm not sure what the end looks like. Wait, hold on. I think I accidentally invented this thing on the previous stream when we talked about weapons.
Doesn't look quite like historical origins. Of course, this is not supposed to be history.
I don't think that's
still named that.
Bad. I think it's all completely alright.
Expect something that is.
I think it being not completely historic. Here's the thing. I'm not sure making things historically accurate is alright, but I don't think it's something you need to do in a fantasy setting. If anything, fantasy shouldn't really be super accurate to real life stuff because it's supposed to be fantasy. It's supposed to be something new and something different from real life. So yeah, I don't really mind. I don't really mind weird shaped weapons as long as it's functional and makes sense. So if someone tries to mug you, you're gonna pull out one of these swords. Nah, I'm gonna just pull out my not forgetting that.
After a specific weapon type in history to kind of look like it. Maybe it's just me. The glaive is fine. Looks like a glaive too. The lances I find a bit funny, because they look like tournament lances.
I mean, I guess.
Were designed to be safer. They were meant to shatter on impact.
Although I do think this kind of makes sense, because when you ask someone what a lance looks like, they're probably gonna describe the tournament lance that people usually use. They're not gonna because regular lances that are not used, regular fighting lances, they're not as, I guess you can say, popular in media as the tournament lances. But yeah.
dissipate the force.
Ayo.
So that knights would kill each other during the joust. It still happens sometimes. Accidents happened.
It happens a lot.
But this is not a weapon. The shuriken are fine, obviously. So
I mean,
the
in
nunchucks.
chat,
Although I know somebody who would vehemently disagree with that. The scythe.
Okay, the scythe. Well, here's the thing. Logically, scythes won't really make for like amazing weapons, but you know, in fantasy, I'd let it slide because you know it still can be used as a weapon. You can use a lot of things as a weapon, and scythes, they're also they're better than nothing. And you know, again, media, you can make anything look cool in media.
Well, there are
war lances tend to be much thinner than competition lances. Yeah, whatchamacallit again, here's the thing. When you ask someone to describe how a lance looks like, chances are they'll actually describe a competition lance than a regular war lance, because competition lances are a lot more popular in media compared to war lances. War lances don't really show up in media a lot. But yeah, like for example, if you go onto like Tom and Jerry or something, I don't know if there's a Tom and Jerry episode with a lance on it, but if you find one, chances are it's gonna be a tournament lance.
Ways to use a scythe in combat. There are even
well, this is an actual manuscript. It's like, you know, it's not really it's not, scythes aren't really practical as a weapon realistically. But yeah, then again, you know, it's media. I don't really mind having scythes in media. It's still pretty usable. You know, it's still pretty usable in my opinion. There may be lost in some places against guns, but there are any loss against these weapons. I don't think there's like loss against swords, but I do think there's loss against you know, sharp weapons. Wait, does it mean I can carry a maul everywhere? I wonder if I can carry a maul into a mall or something. I want to carry a maul into places. That would be fun.
Historical manuscripts about that, which is why I got this to make.
That is sick.
A video about these techniques. I still need to figure out how to make a replacement blade that's safe for sparring. Maybe like.
It's technically not a knife. Technically not a knife? I mean, that's still sharp, though. Technically a sharp weapon. But you know, I wonder if I can bring a blunt weapon into a place. It's technically a weapon, but technically not a sharp weapon. And most laws are based around sharp weapons. I want to bring a maul into a public place and see what happens.
A rigid spine and an edge made of leather or rubber or something like this. Haven't gotten around to it yet. But either way, so
the side looks dope though. I really like it.
This looks a little bit different than the illustration. This could be intended as an actual fighting scythe, because if you look at this is awfully thin.
That looks like a regular agricultural scythe, in my opinion, because of, you know, the tilted blade makes it really awkward.
It's designed to be used against
like a tonfa / nightstick. Wait, tonfa / I mean, now that you mention it, I also think tonfas you can bring a tonfa into like a public place without getting in trouble. I think you can. I might try to do that for the funsies. I want to try bringing a tonfa into like a mall or something. And you know, just in case I get robbed, you know.
Wheat after all, and grass and all that.
Oh, I don't know, even just a beating stick. Maybe a quarterstaff. like you know, when I don't live in America, so people don't really have guns. So over here, if you get robbed, it's probably gonna be a knife. I want to try to bring a quarterstaff into a mall and see if I can, like, you know, in case I get robbed. If someone robs me, I can easily outrange them with a quarterstaff. I want to see what happens.
That not for fighting, so you could make.
And don't get me wrong, quarterstaffs are weapons of mass destruction. I mean, not mass destruction, but you know, they're really destructive, unlike what people usually think of. When people think of quarterstaffs, they usually think, yeah, it's just a big stick. It's just a glorified big stick. But if I try to smack you with one, you're gonna break a few bones. Sword cane. Sword canes, while they're fun, I don't think I wanna like grab them just because I feel like sword canes, you know, it's still a blade. I don't wanna get in trouble with a blade. But you know, when people usually like to underestimate blunt stuff, like, you know, again, quarterstaffs. If I bring a knife onto a public location, people are gonna freak out. But if I bring a quarterstaff into a public location, I doubt anybody will freak out. Because, you know, people don't see staffs as like a dangerous weapon. Even though it's like, in my opinion, this might be a hot take. Quarterstaffs are 10 times more dangerous than than knives. But yo, Jonathan has David, welcome to the stream. We're talking about like weapons and stuff. What do you think? What's your favorite weapon? And what do you think about bringing blunt weapons into malls? Because we're talking about maybe I can bring a quarterstaff into a mall and for quote-unquote self-defense. Defect bullets with tonfa. Oh, I am not like Neo from Matrix. You don't need sub. Hey, let's go. Thanks for the sub. But yeah, we're like growing consistently, which is nice. But yeah, also talking about like, you know, currently talking about like weapons and stuff. What's your favorite? Tell me your favorite. Let's continue this.
More robust version.
Do you have a fan name? Right now, I don't think so. I kind of want to get all of you to like help me out with some fan names. Because I kind of want to have a fan name for like a 2.0 debut. But as of now, I don't really have a fan name, I'll be honest.
Version that is mounted differently.
You won't part an old man with his walking stick, would you? I told you to take the wizard staff. Yeah! Like the Babe Hunters. Oh, I like that name, but oh, should we do that? But yeah, here's the thing, like, you know, I do think a regular cane, a walking cane would be nice. Like, you know, it would make for a nice weapon, but I don't think a cane sword would make a better weapon because here's the thing. Cane swords, they trigger alarm, like they trigger detectors and stuff like that, you know, alarms and stuff. When you go to the airport, you can't really bring a cane sword onto an airport, and if you get caught having a cane sword, you're gonna get in some trouble. But if you're caught using a cane, you know, it's just gonna be a cane. It's just a cane. You can't really do much with a cane, so people won't really consider it as a weapon. If you can bring a cane into an airport and start beating people up in the airplane, you know, anomalies. I wonder if I actually should go with the anomalies. I think that's gonna be like the meme name. It's like some old people carry them just in case they need to bonk someone. Yeah, I kind of low-key want to like start going places with a walking cane now. When someone asks me, it's just, you know, I want to be fancy and stuff like that, but in reality, I just want to smack people. Yeah, I don't think, in my opinion, realistically, in the real world, if you're not planning on killing somebody, I do think a cane is like a really good quote-unquote weapon. Shillelagh, really a walking cane that's also a fighting stick, courtesy of Ireland. Let's go. Wait, is Shillelagh actually a thing? I actually thought that's just the D&D spell. Hold on. Shillelagh. Is that actually a real thing? Let me see. I thought. Okay, let's see. What's in here?
All right, I'm fine.
Polearms. We're at the sides earlier.
The shuriken are fine, obviously.
Okay, hold on. What is it?
Knights wouldn't
Lances,
kill each other during the joust. Oh, weaponly disagree with that. Use a scythe in combat. There are even historical manuscripts about that, which is why I got this.
Big scythes.
Make it spawn. Haven't got a little.
I think scythes are alright in media. Scythes are selamat malam. Yeah. Good night. Yeah. Let's go. Selamat poggers. Yeah. What other like thing is Selamat siang, I think. I don't know.
Different than the illustration. This could be intended as an actual fighting scythe.
But yeah,
if you look at this is awfully thin fighting. So you could make a more robust version that is 4th edition. Looks a lot better and more like this, but it's still mounted in this fantasy way, which again is not actually.
I'm guessing he's talking about like the handles on the side. Yeah, that does make it look a bit weird. Like, you know, this side, I kind of get why they made like this. It's just so it's like a little bit more, you know, this silhouette is a bit more, I guess, easily recognizable. But realistically, it's gonna be really awkward to actually use a side that's where the handle is like on the on the opposite side of the blade. Usually you want it to be like 90 degrees to the side. But yeah, Henry reserves the right to refuse any suggestions made to their own account, quote unquote. But hey, I would accept some really weird suggestions as long as it's not like, you know, as long as it's not freaking, you know, toys, if you know what I mean. I would accept like funny stuff, but I'm drawing the line at freaking dildos. I am not accepting those. But yeah. Let's continue.
I will probably make it more durable. There are of course
like cat, you know what, cat toys? Yes, why not? Give me those like squeaky rats.
several swords
Those squeaky rats that contains like a catnip. Oh, I love those.
which look perfectly usable, even though the terms are off. For example, it's a typical mistake of calling an arming sword a longsword.
I mean, I guess it's alright, you know. Like, even for me, I also like sometimes mess up like what swords are. I just know, like, you know, there's a one-handed swords, two-handed swords, but if you tell me what's the difference between like a long sword, I mean, you know, a short sword and an arming sword, if you ask me the difference, I probably won't be able to like tell.
But a long sword, on the other hand, is either a hand-and-a-half sword, which is long enough to be used with two hands, but can also be used with one hand, or a larger long sword.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like, you know, these are probably, you know, they describe the weapons like wrongly, but then again, I guess that's alright because I also do that mistake a lot.
Which is really intended.
I'm not a sword expert.
Hands. And then you've got the great sword, which should probably have a longer handle.
I feel like this great sword should be like longer. It should be like the size of a, like, you know, I think great swords are usually like 1.5 meters. I don't really know.
Opinion.
Great swords are usually really big.
Least, but that's fine. So those are all functional, usable, look pretty good.
The real great swords, by the way, not talking about like the fantasy one. If you're talking about fantasy great swords, oh, that's just a huge hunk of iron. It's cool though, to be fair. Also, I need to sneeze. Oh god.
Two, no problem. The short sword, of course, is fine as well. Then we've got a sickle, and you might have
okay,
seen my
sickles.
recent video
Sickles are
about
alright.
sickle fighting.
I think sickles are alright.
This is a surprisingly useful weapon.
Sickles are alright. As long as it's not that one particular sickle. Although, I'll be honest, this sickle does look like, I feel like the handle could be longer, but you know,
you're not facing somebody with something much longer. The short reach is a problem, but
it's... Hold on. Oh god, sorry about that. Sickles, they're kind of like daggers in terms of like, you know, what you use them for, in my opinion. I mean, not really similar, but like, you know, like in a way it's like a short weapon when you're fighting with it, but it got the benefit that it's a bit more unwieldy, like you can't really store it as easily, but in exchange you can also do things like pull things and grapple with it, which is nice. But, you know, in D&D it's mostly just for flavor, because sickles, they're just they deal the same amount of damage as daggers, and they can be thrown, which is like just a, so they're kind of just a straight downgrade to daggers.
Weapon.
I actually really want to like if I want to like give my players a sickle in D&D, I kind of want to add an additional feature to it to make it like stand out, because right now sickles, they're kind of like, you know, daggers can do everything a sickle can do, but for cheaper and better. So I kind of want to like upgrade the sickle on D&D 5e.
And absolutely usable. I would say it's better than a knife in most daggers. It could probably do pretty well against a short sword. And again, other similarly short weapons. It's just, as soon as you get to arming sword range, you have a problem.
Okay.
It's just going to be difficult to get within your own reach without being attacked. The maces, morning stars, and
maces, the axes, the maces, and the hammers, they look, and the handpicks, I think they look normal. I think, in my opinion, they look completely normal. I don't think there's anything wrong with them.
Clubs are generally perfectly functional.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm gonna learn. Okay, it's alright. And good luck on studying. Get an A. If you get an A, I'll give you a free moon or something. I don't know.
The axes are, you know, the kukri.
As you said, mono. Oh, okay. Let me check the suggestion as well. What did you suggest to me? Let's see. Let me refresh. Refresh. Let's see. Hold on. Loading. Oh. A banana. You know what? Why not? You know what? Why the hell not? You know what? Why not? I'll add that to the. We got a banana now, a catnip banana. Let's go. Only $5, damn. All right. You know what? Why not? Why not? This throne is quite interesting. But yeah, oh yeah, sup. Let's continue this.
Obviously is. I quite like the club and great club in a newer edition actually. Those are simple but look pretty cool.
It does look nice.
Shaped, and I like that they're metal reinforced.
I like how they look.
This one is also pretty.
This sickle, I think it will be like a bit less effective in grappling, but it's like, you know, it got a bit more range, and I like the design. It's just a really different design from the previous sickle. Like the curved sickle actually, you know, I think the main power, I guess you could say, of the sickle that sets it apart from things like daggers and stuff is its power to like pull things. This one, I don't think it's gonna pull as well as other, like, you know, the traditional sickle. Sickers is a sickle. I can't speak. Kamu orang yang seru. You're a fun person, dope. It's a cat toy that you can put catnip inside of. Dope. Yeah, I love those toys. I need to get some. Catnip is neat.
Pretty neat.
You're gonna get high on stream.
Differently shaped from most
it is
sickles.
really
It's
differently
not a stony
shaped.
Curve. It points more forward, which means you could actually thrust with it. That's not a
Yeah.
bad thing. The Morning Star looks large and
Neat.
heavy, and it would be if it was a solid.
But you know, that sickle over there is a really different sickle compared to like the previous one. I don't think this one. Hold on, let me see. I don't think this sickle is a bit meh though, in my opinion, because it's kind of like half long dagger and half like, you know, not long dagger, just a dagger that's just a bit bigger in size. It's a half dagger, half sickle, and because it combines the two, it kind of does what a sickle and a dagger does, but not as effective. I would rather have either a regular dagger or the regular sickle, which is a lot more curved.
That's not a bad thing. The Morning Star looks large and heavy, and it would be if it was a solid metal ball. But if you made it hollow, it would be that unwieldy. Almost every.
You know, I love again, really heavy looking weapons. Weapons with really heavy looking tops. Like for example, like mauls, maces, big hammers, big axes. Those weapons look, I mean, like, you know, those weapons, I really like it because if you hit someone with it, you just get that nice you know. I like to see bone crushing.
Everything in this illustration would be very functional, with a couple of exceptions. I'm not a fan of really short-handled hammers.
I think this, I'll be honest, I think this will still be usable. Like, it's a bit small, and it's like, I feel like it's mostly used for like as a tool instead of a weapon, but it's still, I would say it would still do quite a bit of damage, just like a regular hammer. I guess it's just gonna, like, you know, it's just gonna be a problem when you're using it against someone with a sword or something longer, because that hammer is quite small. But throwing this thing, oh, that's gonna be really fun.
Especially double hammers, that doesn't really add anything. If you have a hammer on one side and a beak or spike on the other, that's useful. Then now you have two different tools.
I mean, I get what he's talking about. You know, hammer on both sides. Unlike axes, I don't think axes being on both sides is completely fine, because, you know, because swords and axes, they are really delicate weapons. They get dull really easily, and you need to sharpen them a lot. But the hammers, you can have, you don't really need to sharpen a hammer. You can use it for a really long time, and they won't really, like, quote unquote get dull. They're already really blunt. They won't really like break, so you don't really need a spare edge But again, I don't think it's like that's like that bad fantasy wise. It's functionally it is a bit weird, but you know, I don't think it'll be neat though. Like for example, if you have a mall, have one side be flat and have one side be like a bit pointier, not like super pointy, but like kind of like it goes smaller into a point, but the radius of the point itself is pretty big. But yo, Telas Damon, welcome to the stream. We're doing weapon review. What's your favorite weapon? Tell me your favorite weapon, and I'm gonna judge you for it.
And again, very short handle.
We get hammers now.
Even if they're intended to be used by dwarves, I mean, if you're already this short, do you want a short weapon too?
Yeah, I think this look more like tools, I'll be honest. These things look a bit more like tools instead of weapons.
We have no reach at all compared to everybody else. I think my favorite out of all of these is this saber here, which looks
nice.
really neat. I like how
it looks nice.
slender it is.
I do agree with that.
Looks like it would be pretty
But you know, as someone who's like not into swords that much, it's me.
It's just
swords are cool, but I just don't like them. They're just I'm more of a fan of polearms just because they look nicer. I mean, that's in my opinion.
Aesthetically,
I like having long things. I mean, I've learned archery, so of course bow. Oh, bows are also neat though. Hey, bows are actually quite nice. I like bows.
pleasing, you know, the way
bows are really versatile.
the knuckle guard works with the curvature of the blade. It just kind of sweeps around. It's just very nice. And of course, there's nothing wrong with a
Yeah,
katana.
curvy.
In this 3.5 illustration,
Katars are alright. I think I haven't really seen much people use katars, so I really like seeing katars that use katars. But you know, weapon-wise, it's a bit. I don't know how I feel about katars. I'll be honest. They're kinda. I don't know. You don't really have that much. You can't really finesse katars, you know. But I don't know. Then again, I rarely see people with katars.
rapier has
Wait, that is not a rapier.
literally nothing to do with a rapier.
Yeah, that is not a rapier.
This is a rapier. Characterized by a very long, slender blade, a complex hilt of some kind. You know, it can be multiple rings.
Rapiers
it can
are
be like
neat.
this Pappenheimer here, a shell guard of some kind. It can be
can
a cup hilt
poke people with
rapier.
it.
This is, I don't know, some kind of
Looks like a
hanger,
machete?
perhaps.
Looks like a
Cutlass,
machete, I don't know.
Something like that, which is still
What a
functional.
cutlass,
It
yeah.
just doesn't have anything in common with an actual rapier.
Yeah, it's just naming. It's weird naming. I don't know. Then again, they have been naming other stuff weirdly as well. I can't believe they kind of messed up the rapier though. Like if you search up rapier on the internet, I'm pretty sure it's gonna show you a lot of pictures of rapiers. I don't know. Then again, I guess it's 3E.
Then we've got the Dwarven Ergrosh, which
I actually really like this big axe. I'll be honest.
is
I don't know
a
about,
two-handed axe with a spike.
You know what you call again? Axe on the one side, flat section on the other side. Oh, that's gonna be a really nice weapon. I actually really like this. I don't know what his thoughts
Get
on
the
it, this thing.
Not a bad idea. The axe blade looks very clunky. That's generally what distinguishes fighting axes from tool axes. They tend to be thinner. On average, it depends on the overall
Makes
size
sense.
of the axe head. And
Makes
there are
sense,
a bunch
makes
of
sense.
different types and whatnot. In case of a Dane axe, it's very thin. And that's what you want because it makes it easier to handle, more agile, etc. If you have
Makes sense.
a species
Although I'll this might be like, you know, personal opinions. I know that like having really big tops and polearms can be, you know, can make it a bit unwieldy. But in its defense, it gives it that nice oomph, you know? It's kind of like, you know, in video games or like in media in general, hitting someone with a huge hunk of metal is really satisfying. So I do get why people usually do the kind of thing they do, you know, like give weapons really big chunky metal on top of it, because hitting people with metal is just really satisfying. I am gonna go into an FBI watch list for saying that. Oh no.
Species that are stronger than humans, they could wield something larger and thicker and, thereby hit harder overall. But there's always a balance to be had between striking power and agility, because if you hit like an absolute truck, but you can't actually hit it, it's way too slow and predictable.
Yeah,
that
makes
doesn't
sense.
really help.
Makes sense.
But what would help is a spike on the other end. It's definitely useful, particularly if you have a decent amount.
I do want this axe to be a bit like, I want the hilt. It's called hilt, handle, pole. I'm gonna call it the pole. I wish it's a bit longer, I'll be honest.
Of reach,
other than that, it's neat
somebody
though.
Who doesn't, and they're trying to get in, so they're trying to bind your weapon, push it out of the way, and rush into you. Now you can use the spike to defend yourself up close. So that's a good thing. The great axe is just a little.
I do think this great axe need a longer handle, staff, thingy majig. Great axes are cool, but this seems really I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think you're gonna get a lot of leverage with this kind of design. The place where you hold the thingy, I'm just gonna call it hilt because I don't know what to call it. Can someone teach me some spear anatomy or polearm anatomy? I know there's the head, the metal part, but I don't know. I forgot what the wooden part is called. The wooden pole. I do think the pole should be a lot longer, because you really need the I guess it's like, what's it called, leverage, I guess, to actually make this thing function. These things are heavy.
I mean, if you have two fairly thin blades, it might be wieldable enough. But of course, there's always the issue that you're not really getting that much bang for your buck or chop for your gold or whatever. I talked about that in another video about double axes. There are double axes in history. You typically have a
shaft. Yeah, shaft. Thanks for the info, Leonardo. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. I forgot the word.
A larger blade and a smaller blade, which is differently shaped.
I guess he's talking about the great axes having two of the same axes on both sides. I do think, here's the thing, like, when it comes to axes, it's kind of like swords. I don't think having a duplicate of the blade on the other side is like a bad thing. I'm sure having like a different shaped blade will be like more versatile, but axes are really delicate weapons. Sharp weapons in general are quite delicate. They get dull really easily and really quickly, especially if you're using it in really peculiar ways, I'll just say. Like, if you in DnD, I see a lot of people like to smack weird things that they're not supposed to with axes. Like, people try to mine rocks with axes, which is, I guess it makes sense, but that's gonna get the axe dull really quickly. So I won't really be, I do think in the context of like DnD, having a double-sided axe will be alright. One side can be like used for like less important stuff, maybe like or maybe like things like armor or something, things that can chip the edges and make it a bit dull. But the other side is gonna be used for like things like flesh and things that's not gonna be dull. Like maybe it's gonna be the sharp edge. It's gonna start off with both of the sides being sharp, but one side is gonna get dull really quickly if you keep on using it. It's just the nature of sharp weapons. Sharp weapons are really high maintenance.
For slightly different purposes, or you have an axe side and a hammer or spike side.
Axe hammers are nice though. Axe hammers are
things like that. But personally, I don't have that much of a problem with even symmetrical double axes in terms of practicality, because you can in some situations use the other edge, come around for a false edge cut,
I guess,
things like that. And if the main edge gets too damaged, you have a backup. So
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Said.
Axes get damaged really easily. Sharp weapons in general, so yeah.
About it is just the question, how much is it really worth it considering the extra weight? So let's move on to the less usable things. The gnome hook hammer.
Right, this thing is gonna kill someone, just like that other the big curvy blade that we talked about last stream. This thing, I feel like swinging this will stab your arm. I don't think this thing is gonna work, I'll be honest. I think you could make this work, just not like this. And I feel like the spike on the other side is a bit I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like you can remove the spike and the hammer will be just as useful, if not more useful, because the hammer itself already has the spike on the backside.
And well,
weapon design-wise, it's a bit what the fuck.
A warhammer or pick is perfectly useful, obviously. What happens when you put a hook at the end? As long as it's pointing in this direction, it's okay. It doesn't really add too much.
I mean, it's okay, but it's not gonna like, you're not gonna use it that much in my opinion. Especially, you know, like that axe, that hammer pick that we saw earlier. I can't really find a good way to actually hold that, or like use the bottom shanky shank.
Might want to have that on
How do you fight
a
with that?
two-handed weapon. You know, if you imagine you have like a long pole hammer,
I guess two-handed weapons are alright.
then you would be able to use this with the other hand. If it's a single-handed weapon, which this
It's kind of like having a spear under a halberd.
one looks like it is,
Spearhead.
then that's really almost never going to come into play. And that's assuming you hold it this way. And of course, if you have a hammer and a beak, that you might want to switch it around.
Yeah, you need to switch it
you
around.
can do that too. But if you do that, then
Yeah, you're gonna cut your arm.
now the hook is pointed at your own forearm.
That is
where
not
you can
gonna be
easily injure yourself,
fun.
or you know your opponent could even deliberately jam this into yourself, and you can end up gutting yourself with your own weapon. That's not useful.
Definitely not
All right, now
nice.
we're venturing into the ridiculous territory. The two-blade
Two-blade sword. Okay. I know he said this will be like, you know, this is like ridiculous, but I'll be honest, if you make the middle part long enough, I think it'll work. It's kind of like, you know, kind of like a spear with a long blade on it, but I put another spearhead on the other side. I think it could work, just you need to like adjust it a bit. But let's see what he has to say.
bladed sword.
Like if the shaft is small and you can only like, you know, if it's kind of like Darth Maul's light staff, it's definitely not gonna work. But if you make the shaft longer so that you can, you know, maybe like, I don't know, at least like 1.5 meter, maybe like 1 to 1.5 meter, I think it will be usable. Just in my opinion.
Ranted about those before. It's no secret that I don't like those. It's just the problem here is the ratio of handle to blades. If you have a pretty short handle and relatively long blades, it's useless. If you have a long handle and shorter blades, you know, like a...
I think you can still get away with like having the blade pretty long, but you want the shaft to be long. Also, wait, what did he call the thing? Oh, he called it the handle.
Relatively long blade.
You need the handle to be a lot longer.
If you have a long handle and shorter blades, you know, like a double-end.
Yo, Tiffany, how's the day been? Welcome to the stream. We're talking about weapons. Do you have a favorite? If you have a favorite, do tell us. Like, you know, we're talking about weapons mostly, and like, you know,
spear.
Weird weapons, but yeah, you know, double-edged spears. That makes sense. Even spears with swords taped onto like the end of it, I can see that,
for example,
working pretty well.
Batleth has a better ratio of handle to blades, plus the batleth is curved away from you toward the opponent, so you're not as likely to injure yourself with it. That's all fine and good, but there's something far worse.
Oh.
The dire flail.
Oh no! I mean, here's the thing. Double flails, they're definitely not gonna work. Because even if you make the handle really long, the chain can get caught up in like a lot of really weird places. Double flails definitely will be quite a thing. If you're gonna make a flail, you can't really put anything on the other side. it's the other. If you put something on the other side, either it's gonna be unusable because if you use the other side, the flail is gonna get caught onto things when you use the other side, or it's just gonna if you add a flail, yeah. Flails don't go behind, okay? If flails, don't put a flail near your body. By the way, what's your favorite weapon? Good question. Good question. Are we talking about like melee, range, realistically, fantasy, or what? I can because I can actually there's my opinion can vary a lot depending on whether it's what category we're talking about. Realistically, actually no. Like realistically, if I'm gonna go out to the mall and with a weapon, I'll probably either like bring a cane, a walking cane, or a quarterstaff. Because I want something that's like that's not obviously a weapon. I want something that looks normal. On FPSs, ooh, I actually don't play FPSs a lot, I'll be honest. So mostly guns, huh? I don't really know specific guns, so I can't really like say if I have like a specific favorite gun. But in real life, okay, real life guns. Here's the thing, I'm not the type of person to get into like fights. I probably want something that's really low profile, so probably just a simple pistol. I don't know what pistol. Realistically, probably something normal like a Glock. But if I'm feeling fancy, a revolver. But then again, I'm not gun licensed. In real life too. And then FPS, I don't know, like I don't really play FPSs that much. I usually swap between weapons a lot as well. What are my favorite like weapons actually? Like on Overwatch I play Ana, so snipers are nice, I guess. But then again, I don't really use snipers on other games. On Payday I use just regular rifles. And also shotguns. Oh, shotguns are fun in Payday. In CSGO, I don't play CSGO that much, but I usually just use the AK. Almost exclusively use AK. Anyone played chess? I played it a tiny bit, but I suck at it. But yeah, I'm not plat though. Oh, I know, and you say pistol. Quote unquote pistol? No, in real life, yeah. I played a bit, but I suck at it. But yeah. And yeah, in real life, I will probably say pistol. Because, I want something that's low profile. I don't want something that's or maybe even a hand crossbow, who knows? But again, hand crossbow is kinda hard to store. So probably a pistol. But then again, I'm not gun licensed, so take my words with a grain of salt. But yeah. In a place where I can't have pistols though, like 90% of the world. If you're not in America, I'm not in America. So as someone who don't live in America, if I want to bring a weapon with me, it's probably gonna be something really low profile. Again, what I've talked about, canes or staffs. Or hammers, maybe even hammers. A hammer in the bag, I used to do that. I don't do it anymore though, because it's heavy. And I get books. I bring books a lot with me now, so it's gonna get really heavy. But yeah, no, I'm not American. I don't really have guns. We don't have guns over here. But yeah, I guess it's normal though. America is just the gun country. You get lots of guns in America. But yeah. Double flails, flails, yikes.
It has a reasonably long handle, but putting another...
Here's the thing, even though the flail has a long handle, try to imagine holding a flail with a long handle. When you try to swing the top flail, the bottom one is gonna swing right at your body. It's not gonna work. If you make it even longer, it's just gonna be unwieldy. Yeah. I'm from the far realms, if you don't know yet.
The flail at the other end adds absolutely nothing of value. For one, it messes with the balance. This is the kind of weapon that...
I mean, yeah, when people ask, I usually just mention that I'm from somewhere in Asia. I'm not gonna say the specific place, but I'm from somewhere in Asia.
You want to be top heavy, you want it to hit hard, That's what it does. It's not going to be an agile weapon for quick, nimble maneuvers. This is the kind of, I'm gonna cave your skull in. You add the same weight at the end. Now it's not weighted so favorably for pure impact force. Now it's just overall way heavier and
Yeah, flails just doesn't work in the back of any weapons, I'll be honest. Yeah, from the IRL stream. Yeah, I guess that's neat though. But yeah, let's keep it a hush-hush. Let's keep it hush. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. I did do one IRL stream at some point. But yo, Shirai, welcome back. Hopefully, we're talking about weapons now. Do you have a favorite weapon? If you do, then do tell me. I'm kinda curious, and I'll judge your tastes. And talk about it a bit. And yeah, for all of you, feel free to talk about your favorite as well. Have you watched the one with the hammerhead worm? Oh, we're gonna get there that soon. We're we're going down slowly from we're going through the videos.
more awkward to wield. Now you have to contend with the other spiked ball constantly swinging around in semi-unpredictable ways. I used to be an adventurer like you, but then I took a dire flail to the knee.
Although, one thing though, I mean, sure, the flail is like a horrible weapon. I do agree with the double flail being a horrible weapon, but I think like if you have a long enough handle and you like spin the handle like you row a boat, I think it'll be kind of fun. It's not gonna be effective, but it's gonna be fun. Gonna be funny as well.
It was totally my own fault. I'm a dumb.
Oh yeah, by the way, you can do any weapon. Like you can do real weapons, fantasy weapons, melee, range, up to you. Long range bow / crossbow / dual knife from Tokiden. Ooh, neato. I need to check the dual knives actually. I'm kinda curious to see how that looks like.
We've got the same problems, but
bows and crossbows are quite standard. They're really good picks for weapons if you're supposed to be dueling someone. But yeah, because for me, here's the thing, I don't really have a quote-unquote favorite weapon, because I will pick different weapons depending on the circumstance. Like, if I'm just walking in the streets, or compared to when I actually need to fight someone, I don't have to be able to attack right in front with a sword. That's fair, that's completely fine as well. Again, if you ask me if I'm in a duel and ranged weapons are allowed, I'm 100% gonna pick a ranged weapon over a melee one. You like SMGs or assault rifles or both? I think both of them has its place, I'll be honest. Here's the thing, I don't really have much of a preference when it comes to weapon selection, because I usually select in video games they're talking about, by the way. In video games, I pick the weapons that most fit the situation. If you've seen me play Payday, the weapon that I use really depends on the situation. If I'm in a more open map, I'll probably pick something with more range, like either an assault rifle or maybe even a sniper. Depends on my role in the team. If the team doesn't really have a sniper that takes down the specials, I'll probably grab the sniper. But but if we're playing close quarters, I'll probably pick the shotgun. But yeah, it really depends on the situation when it comes to weapon types. But that's just me. I don't know. I don't really have a specific preference. But yeah, if the place is more open, probably an assault rifle. But if it's a more close space, I'll probably pick the SMG or maybe even a shotgun. But yeah, let's get the covered out with the bow. That's completely fine as well, actually. By the way, SMG for movie? Wait, what's SMG for? What is the SMG for movie? I'm not sure. What does that mean? What does SMG for mean? But yeah. For bows and crossbows also have his place. Again, if I'm in video games, I'm not talking about real life. If you need to do something quietly, bows are a really good option. Realistically. But, I mean, in video games, usually silencers will do the trick, but silencers don't really help that much with the noise that the gun makes. It's more of a suppressor, not a silencer. So bows, they make for really good stealth options. Same with crossbows. Crossbows are a tiny bit louder because you get the creaking noises when you wind them up, but they're still quite nice. Also, I don't like loud noises, so I also like bows a lot. I do love the automatic crossbow from the Van Helsing movie. Ooh, I need to see that. I think I've seen the automatic crossbow, but I need to see that now. The Van Helsing movie. Automatic crossbows are dope. Auto crossbow sounds cool. It does sound really cool. I won't
Dialed up to over 9,000 with the spike chain.
Hold on, what's this? Hold on, what's this thing? The spike chain. Oh god. Giving the benefit of the doubt, I can see this working. This is actually somewhat functional. But do you know how? You can throw this at your opponent. Like grab the middle part and then like spin around and then throw it at your opponent. That's gonna trip them. This thing is gonna trip them. It's gonna like, you know, get around them. Or like, you know, maybe just spin them around you and hopefully it hooks onto your opponent. And like it, and then when it hooks, just let go. It's gonna be really finicky for your opponent to handle. You need to throw this thing.
Oh boy. There are chain weapons. The spike chain is a lot worse than those. If you insist.
Chain weapons as well, you know, if you have a line of chain, well, sure, you can use it as a weapon. I think a better option is to just throw it at your enemy. It's gonna mess them up real bad. Or maybe, I don't know, like spin the end and then try to like get it around your enemy and make their life hell.
As a weapon like a drunk biker or whatever. This is...
To be fair, Ghost Rider is hella cool, okay? I love Ghost Rider.
This is basically the least effective way you could do it. You can use one at a time, but what the hell are you...
Here's the thing. You do it like that. Spin one end around, but spin and throw it at an enemy, and then just let the chain go and see them struggle with the chain.
Doing with all this crap.
Like, you don't expect someone to fight with a chain around their neck. You don't even need to hold it. They're just gonna, you know, them trying to get the chain off their body is gonna waste a lot of valuable time for them, and you can stab them while they're trying to get their chain off.
To be fair, this design is more useful than just a plain Jane chain, because you've got those rings, so you could use those as handles. Like there's a little bit more to work with.
I guess.
And of course, because they're weighted at the end, they move a little bit better than just a simple chain like.
I think the best kind of chain weapon will be like just a regular chain. Maybe make it a bit long. Maybe like put a weight on either one side or both sides. You hold like the most of the chain on one hand and like, you know, put them in a roll, and then the other chain you want to throw at your opponent, maybe like around them, or like maybe like, you know, try to get the chain around one of their limbs or something, and try to just get stuck on them, and then just keep on like just throw the other end at them, and they're gonna have a really hard time getting that chain off. And while they're trying to fiddle with the chain, you can do a lot of things to them. I don't know, stab them, shoot them. I don't know, if they have a ranged weapon, you probably don't want to like use chains, but you know, it's good, but not as a weapon, but more like as an item you can throw at someone.
This. Either way,
to just make their life a living hell.
Flexible pieces on either side, which are tethered in the middle, so you're limited in.
If you spin both of them at the same time, it's gonna get caught with each other. That's not gonna be good.
How far you can?
It's gonna become an earphone wire.
It threatens yourself for very little benefit. Because again, what are you going to do if somebody actually attacks? Are you just going to hold the chain and try to catch it? That's going to be very difficult, especially against a two-handed sword, let alone an
it's going to be really heavy.
That is just never going to happen. And of course, it has a typical problem of flexible weapons. It gets entangled.
That's a benefit if you're throwing it at your opponent.
Somewhat unpredictable. The more you practice with it, of course, the better you get at it, the more predictable it becomes.
It's a throwing weapon.
It's just
I think chains are more of a throwing weapon.
I'm so cool. Which I get it. It's
oh god, that's how you use it.
Everybody wants the most badass character possible. Fine. It's just in practical terms.
Wait, that's how you use it? Oh god.
Garbage. There's a different version and a newer edition, which is more useful because it actually has grips. So this is basically like two extremely short-handled flails tethered together by a chain.
I guess.
At that point, I don't know. As silly as it is, I think I'd rather dual wield regular flails. Also not a good idea because again, no defense, 100% all offense.
Yeah, this is definitely the type of weapon you throw at your opponent.
Which I suppose, if you have a healer on hand who can magically close your wounds, it's not too bad. Or if you have magic armor, or you're a barbarian who's just somehow hard to kill, stuff like that. Within the logic of that world, this is not even all that crazy. A double axe would...
Yeah, I mean, I can see this somewhat working if you make the handle longer. If you make the handle longer, it might work. But, my thoughts are kind of mixed on this one. Because on one side, I feel like it could work if you make it longer. But at the same time, you can also really easily stab yourself with this, or slice yourself, I guess you can say.
Which is more like a quadruple axe, because you have
it's
two double axes. So basically you have this. It's drawn with a very short handle. I've seen...
If it's longer, it could work somehow. I think like it will kind of work. Not effective, but you know,
other drawings,
it's not horrible.
Those are fan art.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's really short. Yeah, that's never gonna work.
So not canon or whatever.
That is really short.
Some of those have a much longer
this one
pull, which is
I
better,
feel like
but it's
better, but I think it should be longer.
So
I think it should be longer.
Some problems with this. Every time you retract the weapon to prepare for a swing, you threaten yourself potentially. Like every time you move one of those blades toward yourself, toward your face, toward your back.
And with polearms, I also like to see people use like the entire length of the handle, so it's gonna be really difficult to use it on this double axe configuration.
Things like
it's gonna be really difficult
and
to do that without slicing yourself.
This blade goes toward your forearm. This is intended either as a double weapon, where you can use the two the same way as you would dual wield two separate weapons. I do think dual wielding will give a bit more flexibility though. Having both weapons be on the same hilt just makes it, I don't know, be on the same shaft. Makes it really awkward, just in my opinion though, if you're using it as like a double weapon kind of weapon. Somehow. Or you could swing it with two hands like that. Now, with double swords and double axes in this case, you usually want more staff, less blade. Yeah, I agree with that, I agree. With axes though, with the axes, I feel like the blade goes forward a lot, so it's gonna be really hard for you to do certain things without slicing yourself. Like, you know, doing big slices. Like if you raise your axe up and like try to smack someone with it, like straight down, the other side of the axe is gonna go straight into your face. It's gonna be it's really yikes. I think I'd rather have like nothing or maybe a spearhead on the other side. Oh, that also doesn't work. Oh wait, if you want a good cool one. Oh, I know chakrams. Yeah, chakrams are nice. Chakrams are quite nice. I do think they're a bit more of a throwing weapon though. Like chakrams make for a really good throwing weapon. In my opinion, the small ones. The big ones, the big like hula hoop chakrams, I don't know about it. I don't know. I feel like they're a bit like, you know, that chakram character from Soul Calibur. Chakrams, they're just, in my opinion, like the big ones, the big fantasy chakrams, they feel a bit awkward to me. I do think they look a bit awkward. Yeah, chakram from Senna. I think the name is Senna, I can't remember. I think the Soul Calibur person. Like the hula hoop chakrams. I do think they're, you know, I mean, sure, they look cool, kinda, but I also think they look a bit awkward. They look a bit awkward. But the throwing chakrams, oh, I really like that. Really, it's just flying discs. Like, imagine if someone, like, you know, I don't know, like freaking an artificer or something makes a chakram launcher. That's gonna be hella dope. Chakram launchers are dope. Like, have a machine that spins the chakram and then just, whatchamacallit again?
and then just shoots it forward. That'll be hella cool. But yeah.
Because if you do this now, you have to
But yeah, they're more of a throwing weapon, in my opinion.
constantly awkwardly work around.
But
this
feel free to give me more, by the way. Feel free to give me more like weapons that you might think I like. Feel free. I mean, the TV shows and whatever. Oh, what is Senna? Wait, what's the name of the character from like Soul Calibur then? I can't remember. Soul Calibur Chakram girl. Who's that girl's name? Oh, Tira, it's not Senna. Oh, I mean the name kind of sounds similar. That's why I kind of messed it up. But yeah, it's Tira from Soul Calibur with the big chakrams. Let me check Senna Warrior Princess though. Senna Warrior Princess. What's that? Oh, those small chakrams. They're really small. Does she actually throw the thing? Why is she holding it like this? I mean, I guess she is wearing gloves. Hold on, let me show you. Show you copy image. Copy image, and then let's get over here, and then hold on. Bip, bip, and bip. Oh, wrong. wrong one. Where is it? There you go. Yeah, there you go. Why is she holding it like this? Is this normal? Like, I feel like you should be holding it like from the inside. Like when I see people use chakrams, usually people like, you know, try to like spin it around on their finger and to throw it. Actually, I need to see this actually. She uses it, also she throws it, right? If she throws it, then it makes sense. If she like tries to use it as melee, it doesn't really make much sense in my opinion. I don't think chakrams work in melee. Same with like the big ones, the big hula hoop ones. But yeah, okay.
Blade, because if you don't pay
subtle.
attention to what you're doing, then this happens. You jam your axe blade into your own forearm.
Yeah,
either
definitely.
of those two forearms. And there are plenty of situations where if you swing this normally, like already.
A large double-bladed sword. Oh, like the great sword, the usual. Wait, by double-bladed do you mean like blade on the front and back, or blade on whatchamacallit, again, just one side? Because greatsword, I can, you know what? Greatswords is fine. Like, you know, the berserk sword. Let me search that. The berserk sword, I do think it's alright. Let me like. Copy image. Yes, I often trust the chakram. Yeah, that's neat though. I need to like check it out then. That sounds quite cool. All right, let me show you. Send and react. Oh, okay. Let me like go down a bit. Oh yeah, no. This is you're gonna slice yourself with this thing. No, please don't use this. If it's the council, oh, send it over. I'm kind of curious. Also, please don't use this thing. Please don't use this thing. Like if it's just one side with like maybe a longer handle, I think that still makes sense. I could see that you know working. But you know, here's the thing. Like with weapons, I actually don't mind a lot of lots of gibberish. Oh god. Here's the thing. With weapons, I actually don't mind like really big and chunky weapons and like, you know, weapons that will be really unwieldy in real life. But I'm not a big fan of weapons that look like it's gonna actively harm the user. This weapon looks like it's gonna actively harm the user. Also, yo, hello and good night, Invader. Yo, welcome. And yeah, are you gonna sleep? If you're gonna sleep, it's all completely fine as well. Yeah, how's your day been? Okay, let's go back up. Yeah, like, here's the thing. Like, when it comes to weapon design in the fantasy, I do think big chunky weapons that are a bit unwieldy in real life would be alright. I think I can see it being cool. Like, you know, I like big hunks of metal. But I really don't know how I feel about weapons that look like it's gonna actively hurt the user, you know? And yes, the Thanoscopter, is it what that's called? Oh dear, Thanoscopter. Imagine if like someone uses one of those blades to like as like some kind of helicopter thingamajig propellers. That'll be funny. Oh dear. Let's
You
see.
have dug the corner of this blade into my forearm.
But yeah.
At the same time, you're compromising.
Yeah, let's see the next one.
Axis
I wanna, like, you know, I wanna,
here. This doesn't actually, no, not at a counterweight.
Whatchamacallit
and make
again?
the weapon perfectly balanced.
Do this quick.
To demonstrate,
you know,
this
do
is
it
not
faster.
a perfect analog by any means,
yes.
because of wood and those.
I'm guessing like he's
how
demonstrating
fast
like having a
you are,
counterweight.
and the whole thing. I don't risk this. First off, I'm gonna hold it. Nope.
Here's the thing though, like having a counterweight on like thingamajigs, well shit, it's nice. I do kinda like the, you know, in fantasy, in media, big weapons with like, that's extremely unbalanced, like, you know, just a big pole with a huge rock on top of it. Smashing someone's skull with it is really satisfying. Looks really satisfying. Like, that's a lot of force.
Not at all.
That's why I really like hammers. They're super,
Feels significantly
cool, I guess you
harder
can
to
say.
move. Now gripping it lower.
It's just the amount of destruction that you can do with them. Is this what they'll do? Castration to the wielder by accident while the wielder uses it. Probably any of those double-bladed swords, I'll be honest. You know, the swords that, you know, there's a sword in the front and on the back. Where's that? Bong bong.
This
Yeah,
counterweight
indeed.
does not help me in the least. It makes everything harder because the whole thing is this damn heavy now. Of course, if you use a wide grip and have two weighted equal,
Yeah.
but yes, sure, you can opposite envy.
Yeah, what are we
Train
gonna, like,
proper-
you know, we get
If
it,
you
we
have
get
more
it. Is there anything
strength
else?
And you're able, just put all the mass on this end here.
Yeah,
It's actually gonna benefit you.
Get all the mass on the one end. Yeah, that's gonna be the best. I love that. Like, that's what I was talking about earlier. I love it. I love big, heavy weapons with long poles. Those things, like the sheer destructive power, like that's like, I guess, implied, you know, in media, usually when someone swings a huge hammer with a long pole, it just feels really satisfying. When the hammer hits the ground, it's gonna like whatchamacallit again, it's gonna make the ground shake, or like, you know, make a shockwave or something. I don't know, like Reinhardt's attacks. I don't really play Reinhardt. I feel like Reinhardt is a bit meh. I'm not a big fan. I mean, Reinhardt is fun, but you know, it's just not really my favorite tank in Overwatch. But I will be lying if I don't say his hammer is hella satisfying to use. Like smacking someone with the hammer, I wish it's a bit more satisfying. Like, you know, I can see people actually getting bonked, but it's just, you know, swinging around a huge hunk of metal is really satisfying.
Because then you can strike extremely hard with it, and you're still reasonably fast, and you don't have to worry about all this crap getting in the way. So simpler is better sometimes. But at the same time, you have to give them credit for originality. They try to come up with something new,
Yeah.
something that you haven't seen in history, because, well, this is fantasy. This is supposed to
Yeah,
have
I
a bunch
agree
of-
with that. You need to come up with things. But I'll be honest, you know, I love it when media comes up with like new things, new styles of weapons and types of weapons. But I do think they need to like design it like I do think they need to design it not realistically, but in a way that makes sense, in my opinion. Like, I don't like weapons that, again, looks like it's gonna actively harm the user. So that's something that weapon designers really need to put in mind.
Unique weapons and approaches and all that. It's supposed to have the coolness factor. So obviously I'm not criticizing the designers here. This is just for your entertainment and education. And just because it's fun to nitpick and pull things apart. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
guess.
overthinking
It is. Like, there's a lot of like, you know, in fantasy, you're also not really, I guess, constrained to I guess what you can do, the laws of physics in the real world. Like, for example, you can like have someone who like, you know, like one of those like, you can have like, let's say, let me like get to paint, just illustrate my point. Hold on. Like, let me like show you maybe like, you know, a quote-unquote stupid weapon. Give me a sec. Paint.net. Okay, I was looking at the Glock over here. Let's step on the plastic spoon and crack into 3 beautiful pieces. Do it into an axe. Dope. But yeah, like, here's the thing. Like, let's say I get like a really weird looking weapon. Like maybe a really stupid looking weapon. Let's say I have like this is the, let's say this is like the handle maybe, and then like let's say we got like, actually I'm gonna make one first. Handle, and then let's do maybe like maybe some kind of windmill blade. Let's make some kind of windmill blade. Let's like do kind of like this. Make it like a big slicey here. Yes, big slicey. Yes, big flock gun. Yeah. Let's say we have a big slicey like this, and then let's get the, like, copy it, paste it, turn it upside down. There you go. And then usually you're not gonna like do it like this. Okay, there you go. And then let's see. I'm gonna make this the canvas bigger so I have more room to work with. Yeah, this is weapon design class for those of you. Hey, if you're planning on like making fantasy weapons, come to my class. At least, you know, I mean, then again, it's like my class is gonna be a bit like biased considering I get like interesting taste in weapons, but you know, hey, if you like my taste in weapons, feel free to join my class, I guess. Yeah, let's say, you know, this is a really crude fashion. Let's say this is like a huge windmill weapon something thingamajig. This is when to draw a handgun. This from the previous. Earlier I was playing Minecraft and I added the gun into Minecraft, but yeah. Let's say I got like this huge blade. Let's have someone in like, let's say, you know what, let's say this is like one of those blades. Like if I have a person, the person is gonna be like, you know, let's say this is the wielder. The wielder usually like has the blade. Like the blade is like on his back. He does his own thing, you know. He's the edgy main character. He's like edgy and stuff. But yeah, that's Sivir's weapon. Ooh, I don't know what Sivir is, but I need to check that out. If it's been a while since I played League. But yeah, but let's say that's like the user. Let's say yeah, that's the user. You can make it actually look like this, but make it make sense. Like let's say the user have like certain powers. Maybe the user like, you know, this looks like a windmill bait. Let's say the user have like wind powers or something. So he can actually just like, you know, instead of like using this weapon as a melee, he can be like over here. He's like controlling the weapon on its own using the power of the wind or something. Like he's gonna be over here and then like let's say body and then like kind of like that. Yeah, he's gonna like make the thing go on its own, and then like it's gonna slice people. That makes sense, you know, because he's not exactly holding the weapon, and the weapon won't be like actively hurting him. If anything, he probably wants the weapon to be actively hurting the user, because, you know, just in case an enemy picks up the weapon, you know, that will make sense, and that will be actually quite cool. As a fantasy weapon designer, you really don't want to be constrained by what laws of physics in the real world have. You know, get creative or something. I don't know. You know what? Hey, you guys, give me like a weird weapon, like a weapon that you think might be quite stupid, and I'll see if I can like redesign it and or like, you know, make it actually make sense and still be cool. But yeah, anyways, let's check this out one. There's another one.